Good morning, everyone, afternoon, evening, whenever the time is that you're watching me. Welcome to the first video that I'm doing in 2021, and I hope that you are all well. Hope you had a good Christmas and you're ready for this new year, because I think we need to be ready for this new year. I said a few weeks ago, I think, on one of my channels, it's very much to do with hit the decks running in 2021. But it's also about preparation for some big changes that are coming in, both collectively and personally. So I'm going to talk about that, and we'll see what guidance wants to come through from my guides as well, and particularly Archangel Metatron, who's here, as he always is, trying to help and steer us forward. So let's get to it. Let's just get straight into it. I did pull a card, have to just say quickly, for what we are leaving behind in the last year. Having said that, I still feel that it feels like a cusp energy that we're on right now. I was born on a cusp, so I understand the energy very well. It's as though you have one foot in one camp, but the other foot in another. So we have one foot still in 2020 energy because it was such a big year, and I think many people were shocked at how it rolled out, some of the things that transpired over 2020. And it almost feels as though we're still in a bit of post-traumatic stress disorder energy from that year. And of course, just because the calendar rolled over for January the 1st, things haven't changed that much. So there's still an energy of needing to heal and recover from the last year, as well as keep going with this new one. And then on top of that, obviously what it's going to bring in that is new. So let's get to it. The card basically that seems to symbolize, or that I pulled for the end of 2020, this cusp energy, is this one, which is the Five of Swords. And the Five of Swords is very much about striving for victory, but then it asks you, but at what cost? So if you think about behaviour over the last year, what we witnessed as a world, we certainly witnessed it on social media, and I talked about it quite a lot, was this separation into two different camps, two different ideologies, two different belief systems, and a lot of finger pointing, a lot of mudslinging. If, what you believe, somebody else doesn't. I'm not saying everybody did this, but certainly there's a lot of evidence that this behaviour was going on, and it still is going on. I sort of tried to put out repeated calls for unity throughout the last year, including, actually, interestingly, the last time that I wore this shirt on camera. Nothing is by chance, is it? I didn't realise I'd done it, but I was really pulled to wear this particular top today. And you might remember that the last time I wore this was when I did the video, I don't know how long ago, maybe, I don't even know when it was. Could it even have been, was it even 2019? Might have even been 2019, the cusp energy of 2019 to 2020. It was the Donald Trump video I did, where I was asking us to try and build bridges between these two opposing camps, try and find the middle ground, basically. And it's like we're still there. Whatever happens in January in the USA, and yes, I will look at it, but I'm not going to look at it before inauguration. Ultimately, the video that I do will again be about calling people back together to find the common ground, because ultimately this energy of victory at all costs hurts everybody. There's no victor in this energy. Okay, so a lot of people were involved in that type of mudslinging, and it's still going on, and we need to be moving away from that. We've got the Eight of Cups energy. I also very much struck with this card, which is from the Winter Waite tarot deck. This very much feels like that star that we had coming into our atmosphere on the 21st of December, the solstice. Do you remember this? The solstice star of Bethlehem type energy. It's like that was the moment, even if you lived in a country like I do, where you couldn't see that alignment. on the 21st. It was guiding us back home. What does guiding us back home means? It means coming back to each other, starting to be able to celebrate each other's differences rather than use them as means to just drift further and further apart from each other. Also have the energy of the Two of Cups. But again, this isn't necessarily linked to love. This is linked to us refinding our love for humankind, for each other, you know, stopping the separation, going back to a simpler time of the past. The Chariot moving us on. So, you know, these are still energies that we've got at play. But on top of that, we've now got this new wave, and it is a wave that's coming in for 2021. Let's look at that. So, two different stories really, but both with a similar message. The first one is a song, that was given to me by one of you. Thank you very much. I think that you sent me this song on New Year's Day, which was really lovely actually to receive this song that I'd never heard of before on New Year's Day. And it's a song by a band or a group called Haven, Haevn. And the song is called Where the Heart Is. And it's a really beautiful song. I'd encourage you to listen to it. But it's effectively about taking this biggest leap of your life whilst the ground is shaking underneath you. And those two lines about taking the greatest leap of your life whilst the ground shakes underneath you really spoke to me. And I'd like to elaborate on that in this video, because I do think it's what we're being asked to do collectively, to go somewhere we've never been before. And that is also away from separation energies, which is very 3D, into a new era, a new paradigm. I actually feel as though 2021 is almost as though it's the proper start of the new decade. Even though we're a year into it, I do feel as though the new decade really gets off its feet and starts to run in this next year that's coming in. But yeah, just a few lines from this song. High above the tallest trees, courage will come your way. It's the need that burns, the trust that shines, when you climb out of the shade. So it's this thing, it's a bit like the mountain analogy. It's like we've been climbing through this big tree, you know, through all the leafy branches, haven't been able to see the light, and then suddenly you're at the top of the tree. And it's like, whoa, it's like it's a hell of a long way down, but look how far I've climbed to be here anyway. And then it's about having to take this big metaphorical leap of your life into the unknown. It says, your high awakes the things you want to be, where the air is thin and it sweeps you off your feet. Where the heart is, when the light's at your side, when the faith is ready, no more guidance, take the leap of your life as the ground is shaking, shaking off your troubled soul as silence seems to grow. It's the faith in sight, the doubt that fades, as the world dissolves below. It's like the dissolution of the old world as well. It's the dissolution of your old world to enter into. It's not just the next chapter of life. It feels, I'm really wanting to say the next decade of your life. That's what it feels like. It feels like it's the next decade of your life that's coming in. So that was the first thing. That was the first piece of information that came in where I was thinking, yeah, this year is about big leaps forward, and it's like, oh my God, but the ground is really shaking. It's like there's a lot of fear that comes up. There's also a lot of anger that comes up, which is like, I don't know if I want to do this, because you're being asked to move away from comfort zone, and that can make you angry. Okay, so we'll come to that in a minute. The next one was last night I was watching a film, and I was watching Castaway by Tom Hanks, and it's a brilliant film. If you've not seen it before, it's a brilliant film, and it's got so much symbolism within it. Because if you don't know the film, effectively he's a businessman who is top of his game, doesn't look particularly happy, workaholic, working too hard, blah, 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 old 3D Matrix type thing. And he crashes, his aeroplane crashes into the ocean. He's shipwrecked on a desert island, and he survives there for 4 years on his own, okay? So the film is all about his survival, but really the bit of the film that I thought was the most interesting is the moment where he finds the courage to escape his isolation and his dead-end life, because it would have remained a dead-end life, him sleeping in a cold cave, you know, eating coconut milk, and, you know, maybe it's some people's idea of fun, but the film very cleverly demonstrates the fact that he's going a bit mentally insane from doing the same thing day in, day out, no stimulation of the new coming in, a hostile environment that isn't akin to growth or beauty or harmony. So he has to find, the whole premise of the film is he has to find the strength to be able to escape this island, which, even though is inhospitable, is actually his comfort zone, because he's in the middle of the ocean. You can't see any other landmass. There's no ships going past. He's on his own, but he has to find the faith and the trust and the hope to escape that place, which has become both prison but also comfort zone, because it's what he knows. And the film shows a couple of attempts where he's trying to flee the island but can't. He gets, his legs get gashed on the rocks. It looks as though it's totally futile and as though he can never escape this place. Remember, this is all like an analogy of your life as well, okay? And then he builds this raft. He builds a raft. It takes a lot of dedication, a lot of skill, but he manages to find the wherewithal within himself to build this raft. And then the next thing is he has to get over the waves that are breaking on the reef. They're breaking on, I think it's a reef. And once he's over that reef and over the huge waves that are being formed on it, he's into clearer waters. But even when he's into clearer waters, he still doesn't actually know where he's going to go. He still doesn't know whether anyone's ever going to find him on this raft that's just drifting in the middle of nowhere, very much trust and faith. But he's having to do it also because he knows he has no choice. He can't stay on the island. Now, of course, he does make it over the reef, and eventually, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the film, he does get picked up and he makes it back. But he's a changed man. His life is never the same. I just looked at that last night and I thought, wow, that speaks to so many of us, doesn't it? Which is that, what is your island? What is that place? Or what is that behavior? Or what is that pattern? Or what is that relationship? Or what is that job? Or what is that income that has kept you feeling trapped and imprisoned? But yet somehow you need to find the wherewithal to build the raft, okay? And, the raft is made up of, for example, it's support system. It's your own skills, it's your own talents, it's your own belief to ride over the biggest wave of your life and make it to the other side. And then even when you've made it to the other side of that big wave, you still don't actually know what is necessarily going to happen. If that's not the biggest test of trust and faith, I don't know what is, okay? I think that's where we are, guys. I think that's where we are. And my God, it's only the 3rd of January. I actually feel like energetically, to even bring you this message, these 3 days of January, well, two really, because it's the start of the 3rd, I've almost been riding that wave, having a very clear idea in my own head of where I want to be, what I need to be escaping from. How the hell am I able to do that? Going into the slough and the pit of fear and anger. I had some moments of anger, which is like, why the hell am I being asked to do this? I can't do this. And Spirit is like, yes, you can. Yes, you can. And my higher self is saying, don't be such an idiot. Of course you can. But we have to also realize that, these tests, they come with a lot of shadow energy. Back to the film, he took 4 years to get himself off that island. Even though he'd tried, it got to the point where he knew he had to. He had to. It was almost like a matter of life and death. Not in terms of physical death, but there's a death of the old. There's a death of our old persona that is desperate to happen. And we have to trust that we can build the raft to get ourselves over the wave. What is your wave? What is the biggest fear that you see on the horizon that you can't get past? Maybe just have a moment to think about that. Have a think about where you really wish to be. Well, no, think about what you really wish to be escaping from. As I say, it could be a pattern, a behavior, a relationship, a job, an income, a belief system. It could be anything. Okay, so I know what it is, what I'm trying to break free from. I might have an idea of where I want to be going, but I don't know how I'm going to get there. And then think about the raft. Okay, the raft. What is it that's going to help me get over this big hump, this big wave? But also remember, and this is so important, that again, go back to the analogy of the film. Once you've built the raft, Spirit comes in and helps propel you also. So it's a bit of, you have to do it for yourself, but then once you've shown that you're willing and able, and you've gone into that place of the deepest trust that you've ever known, Spirit will come in and carry you further. The film makes it so clear, to be perfectly honest. I mean, literally, he's virtually at death's door on this raft, having made it over the wave. You know, it's all over for him, really. It's game over. Even his friend Wilson, the ball, you know, is floated away. It's bleak. It is bleak. But it's at that moment, the darkest moment, that's when his rescue actually happens. There's so much in that film. There's so much symbolism. I think that's where we're at, guys. I think that's where we're at. Back to the song as well, you know. Take the biggest leap of your life whilst around you the ground is shaking. Really? Yes, really. I guess if we all do it together, it's not going to be as bad because there is the 100th monkey effect, okay? But, you know, you still need 100 of those monkeys to do it. And I suspect a lot of us watching this channel are in that group of people who've basically put their hand up pre-incarnation and said, okay, somehow humanity has to evolve to be better than this, you know, my way or the highway. Somehow we have to get past these separation energies. And to do that, we have to demonstrate, and how we demonstrate is via trust and faith. Okay, so it's very much interweaving the collective message, but equally the personal message. Let's pull some cards at this point. Let's also have a little bit of tea. Some things I'll take with me. I'll take David Bowie with me on my raft. Take a time traveller with you. That helps as well. Also remembering that you are also a time traveller, of course, you know. We're all leading these lives, which are very much past, present and future, all intermingled. You see, this is the thing. There is a version of you that's already living the life that you wish to be living. And I know that's like, what? What the hell are you going on about? But I believe that to be true. It's just your physical body having to catch up with that. Think about your dreams. Think about where dreams take you. Think about the people that you meet in your dreams, the places that you go to. They're not always in the past. A lot of them are in the future. That's interesting. Metatron's saying sometimes those future dreams are veiled, though. Why would that be? Because people aren't ready, maybe? Depends where your focus is, Metatron's saying. Think about where your focus is. Is your focus always on the past? Is it on the present? Or is it on the future? I mean, really, there's a lot of spiritual teaching, and I'm one that endorses this as well, the whole mindfulness thing, which is that we just have to be present. And that's definitely one of my life lessons. I have to learn to be more present, because historically I've lived in the past too much, which isn't good, but that's a Cancerian thing. We hang on to the past. But what Metatron's actually saying is really the new age is to do with living past, present and future simultaneously. And that's where you do have to be a time traveller to probably even get your head around that. But that's what I'm being told. So he's saying open up your mindset more than anything to be able to open the doorways in sleep time to all three. Because he's saying often what happens is you only want to open up the doorway to the past. I've done this before, you know, it's like, oh, I really want to see so-and-so from my past in my dream. Can I dream about them? Well, yeah, you can, but then you're only going to be reliving the past. You know, what about asking? And you can program your own, you know, your subconscious belongs to you. It's not separate from you. Show me also what's coming in. So, you know, we can program our dreams to a degree as well. Right, now this card, interestingly, I picked before coming on camera, and I looked at it and I thought, I mean, because it's a little bit full on, and I still have things probably to heal with regard to my own divine feminine energy. That's probably what it is. It's willow, white willow, and here we can see a naked woman. Naked woman, yeah, it's about being naked. What's that expression? Being naked before God. We're being this is to do with being stripped bare, you know. And what I mean by that is this isn't about the physical body. This is to do with being stripped bare in terms of being able to see your insecurities, being able to see your own vulnerabilities. You know, when you really look your own vulnerabilities in the face. If you've been on the path that I've been on over the last couple of weeks, and I think a lot of you have, you've basically looked yourself in the mirror and you've seen your frailty. You've seen your vulnerability. You've seen your insecurities. At the moment when the dream, whatever the dream may be, feels very tangible within your grasp, that's the moment when the shadow comes in and says, don't be so stupid. Yeah, of course it is. Darkest before the dawn. Look at this beautiful woman, okay? She represents all of us. She's just owning all of it. She's owning her naked, raw power. There's also an energy there of 3 moons. 3 moons. Now, I don't know whether this is correct, because I'm just going on what I saw one of you write on a comment. I didn't verify it. Somebody said we had 13 moons last year, did we? I don't know. Also, there is no Cancerian moon in 2021. We've just had one, haven't we? We had one right at the end of December. December the 30th, 2020 was the Cancer full moon. So there is no Cancerian full moon in 2021. Why am I going on about that? Well, I'm a Cancerian, so I care about it. But equally, Cancer is the sign of the heart. No, sorry, interesting I said heart. So I was trying to say the energy of the home. Although, again, I've got Steve's words in my mind here, Steve Judd. He always talks about the hearth. Hearth being earth and heart. The word hearth has heart and earth in it. Heart, earth, home. There's something here. I mean, she just feels very at home with her own self, with her own body, with her own world. But it doesn't feel... It feels inclusive. Let me read what on earth this is about. So this deck is called the Tree Angel Oracle deck by Fred Hadjinder and Anne Heng. Now, one of you on Facebook said to me, I can't remember whether you know Fred or you know Anne, but there's actually somebody who's watching me who knows one of these two who created the deck. So if you ever see it, Anne or Fred, great deck. Love it. Really, really love it. And thank you also to the lady that bought it for me, who was Elizabeth. Right. Card number 18, White Willow. What is White Willow trying to teach us? So there's a little poem that goes with it. It says, don't think, don't ask, just dance. Move through life like a drop of water. I love it. Don't think, don't ask, just dance. Move through life like a drop of water. Falling, flowing, rising, drifting. Free your boundaries. Fly, dive, run, stop, but always reflect the light. I mean, is that not just Castaway in, he's floating there on his raft. He doesn't know where the hell he's going. Move through life like a drop of water, falling, flowing, rising, drifting. Free your boundaries. Fly, drive, run, stop, but always reflect the light. Okay. White Willow. White Willow belongs to the moon and the feminine magic. Linked into the healing arts, music, magic. Witches may dance beneath its crown, but the willow invites all humans to join the dance of life joyfully. Yeah, I got that from her. That this isn't this energy. You know, it's my way or the highway. I'm right. You know, you're in my camp or you're not in my camp. You know, this is like all are welcome at my table. It says the moon is full, round, and molten in the sky. Beneath her, everything moves to the circular rhythm of life. The drums beat deep and arousing. Feel your heat, your fire, awaken your desire, your willingness. Pass from intoxication into ecstasy. Caress the moon, the willow. Leap through the woods. Allow your fingers to glide through fragrant hair. Feel a silky touch on your own skin. Air, water, light, the body of another. Kiss. Open your mouth and release your rapture. Dance faster, yield your pounding blood to the divine will. Feel your ecstasy growing. Your tears of joy can heal the earth. These are powerful words. Wow. And then it says this, it says, if the power of the willow is not allowed to blossom within us, we are inclined to overemphasize rational behaviour. We mull over everything at length and lack sympathy and understanding. It's about being too logical, being too rational, everything feeling as though it's impossible. It's asking you to let go, to introduce regular relaxation and a good release. It's talking about dancing. We need to stop hiding ourselves behind our duties, to stop worshipping ridiculous status symbols, to stop adopting inflexible morals and making value judgments. Absolutely, making value judgments. We need to find our passion again. Oh, wow. I mean, come on. That's got to be a totem for the whole year, hasn't it? Yeah. Okay. That's just very, very powerful. Very powerful. Beautiful deck. So, Tree Angel Oracle deck. I always put the decks in my description box below. Okay, so we've got that. I'm also wanting to pull a card from the Archetypes, the Wild Unknown Archetypes by Kim Krans. I don't know Kim Krans. I've seen her on Instagram. Just going off the energy of her page, she looks like she's a woman who is within her deck. What I mean by that is it feels like she's very much into this energy of white willow, you know, a wildness, a free-spiritedness. I remember years ago, went to a medium and my grandfather came through, who I never knew very well. He died when I was a child. And it was, you know, a couple of decades ago, and I was stuck in, you know, a marriage I was very unhappy with at the time, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, and he said to me, he said, never, ever forget your free-spiritedness. Never forget your wildness. He said, you're like, you've got, it's almost like this wild child energy. And it always stayed with me because I really needed to remember and remind myself that I had that within me. And I think we all need to be reminded of that. So I don't know Kim, but I feel like she's got that. She feels like she's an individual, and I like that. I like her cards as well. So the card that's come out is actually the prayer. The prayer. What's that phrase about on a wing and a prayer? You know, sometimes being able to achieve the great impossibilities on a wing and a prayer. You know, a wing, an angel's wing, a prayer, you know? It's like I'm being shown by Metatron now. It's like taking that deep dive off the top diving board, which I've never been brave enough to do, I have to be honest. Always scared the living daylights out of me. But anyway, oh good, I've got a good excuse. The swimming pools are closed now, but I'm being serious. That's the energy. It's like, you know, take a leap off that top diving board, hold you know, and dive in on a wing and a prayer. You will come back up for air. That's what we're being asked to do. And I tell you what, if I was at the top of that diving board now, my legs would be like bloody jelly, you know? I would be shaking like a leaf. And sometimes that's just when spirit goes, whoop, off you go. Off you go. You can do it. You can do it. Believe it or not, you can do it. You can do what you think is impossible. Yeah, I'm being shown now a jumping out of an aeroplane, you know, parachuting, that type of thing. Again, you see, to me, that would be my idea of absolute hell. I don't, and I grew up with a mother who was very fear laden, so bless her heart. But you know, crossing the street was like, be careful. So to jump out of a bloody plane, you know, however many thousands feet, with a little parachute on your back, but that's almost what's being asked energetically. Doesn't mean you've got to do that I don't think I'm going to be doing that this year, but I might be doing it in other ways. So, you know, you never know what's going on, do you? The prayer. So we've got the prayer. I think it's what I said it is. I think I'm also being told we also all need to say a little prayer for ourselves and for humanity. So maybe let's just do that now, shall we? I think that'd be a nice thing to do. Okay. I'm going to do the prayer. I mean, angels don't need to be prayed to. It's the first thing to say. They never ask to be prayed to. So I'm going to address this to Father God. Universal power, source, higher intelligence, the energy of love that is around this planet and within every living thing. We say a prayer for 2021, that we be able to find our inner strength, our courage, our faith and our trust at times in our world, collectively, and in our personal lives where so much is uncertain, where the ground is shaking, but yet we are being asked to carry on and move mountains. We ask that you help us with whatever is being nudged and encouraged within us at this time, to carry on exploring and adventuring through this life, pushing our own comfort zone boundaries so that we learn more of who we are and more of who this beautiful world is, and learn more about each other. Thank you. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, so we've got a prayer. Let's pull one more card from this deck. Do you know anybody in your life? I'm now being shown a couple of people in my life who I guess were role models, you know, people who had that sort of sense of wildness, free-spiritedness about them that help you. I think we all need people around us that can show us that it is possible. And it can be anything. It doesn't have to be the friend that is able to leap out of the aeroplane or anything like that. An example that's coming to me, it's a friend I've got in America. Actually, I haven't seen her for a couple of decades, but I am going to make it to see her in the next couple of years. I've really committed to that. And she was and is quirky, unique, individual, and a bit more wild than I was when I was younger, you know? And New Year's Eve, this last New Year's Eve that went by, I remember her dragging me to, when I say a rave, I mean, it wasn't quite a rave probably as raves are these days, but it's as close as I ever got to it. It was in a great big warehouse anyway. And, she was dancing away and I was doing my best. And then it got to that awkward moment of midnight, you know, where you're supposed to find somebody to kiss or partner up with. And I was such a wallflower energy, you know, I was just like mortified and probably just stuck myself to the wall, you know, made myself invisible. But she was out there having the time of her life. And it really came back to me, this, you see, I'm smiling, the memory of it, because she knew how to have better fun than me, you know, at that time, probably still does. Just like, so have somebody like that in your life, in your mind, which is just like, yeah, good on you, girl, you know. It was innocent. It wasn't anything horrible or druggy or anything like that. It was just somebody who knows how to embrace life. I've always enjoyed being around people that can do that, and often they're people that can do it a little bit better than me, you know, because we all learn from each other, don't we? So, but you also have something to bring to the table, of course, as well. So Yeah, so think of that. That was a nice memory. So the card that's just come out as I was talking about that is Eros. Now this came out before in another reading that I did towards the end of 2020. So Eros, and then we've got the energy of the one on the bottom of the deck as well. Just to, bit of a message there, isn't there? Eros, the God linked into love, intimacy, passion. The one, who is the one? I don't want to go too much into a different type of reading. I want to keep this reading quite concise. How 35 minutes, not doing too badly. What do you want me to say about Eros and the one? I need to pull another card, I think. What do we want to say about Eros and the one? The healer, the snake. There's an obvious interpretation, which is the biggest leap of your life is involved with finding the one, okay? Choosing the one, being led to the one, but to do that, healing is required. The snake has to shed its skin. I also think, though, there's something here about you claiming that you are also the one, okay? Rather than always looking outside of ourselves for the other, that completes us, realizing that in a divine union, you also complete them, okay? So it's about you finding your own worth as well and fully being able to appreciate that, how much you have to offer to another person, your uniqueness, your specialness, your beauty, your strength, the qualities that you've got, because you are the one also. It's like we're always searching for the one, but actually you are the one, and one make three, as I always say. It's always about make two people coming together to create something higher. I do feel as though some of these sacred unions that are coming in 2021, and I do think there's going to be a lot that are coming in, much more so than 2020. I feel as though they're coming in to create something pretty magical that could not be created by those two individuals alone. Okay, and this does feel quite sacred. It feels very spiritual. It feels as though it's a mission. It's something that you signed up for. You bring something to the collective table that couldn't be brought with just one partner. You need both to make the meal, as it were, whatever the meal is. So I think that's the message from that deck, a bit of a love message coming in, but also loving yourself, of course, as well. Okie dokie. Let's pull a charm. My little bag of charms. I thought this was the last one that I bought, but actually she makes quite a few of them. So I'll put the link below to the charms. I think it's called something like My Ruby Slippers on Etsy, but I'll put the link. Okay, so let's have a charm for 2020. Overall, the energy of 2020. I've already pulled the anchor. That came out earlier. So the anchor. But let's see what else. Hold on. I'm sure I pushed. I literally, I couldn't feel that's what it was. But look, we've got the anchor, and we've got yeah, pretty obvious what the meanings are to that. Okay, steering the boat, steering the raft, anchor. I have to say, I'm looking over there because I was distracted. Over there's a house with kids in it, and they've put things on their windows like children do. And I don't know what they've put, but it looks a bit like a banana. It's the shape of a banana. It's a sticker of something, obviously. It's probably the moon or something. But it makes me think of a banana. And it's like, watch out for the banana skins is what I'm hearing. Watch out for the banana skins. The banana skins are other people that are trying to trip you up. Going back, by the way, I must just say, because I've picked this up for a while, back to these divine unions, these divine connections of sacred masculine and sacred feminine that want to come in together. And that can be any type of relationship, heterosexual, bisexual, gay, whatever. You know, it's not to do with male, female. It's to do with, we all have divine feminine and divine masculine within us. It's two people that are meant to be together, that fit together like two beautiful pieces of a jigsaw. I've been picking up for a while that there's going to be some, for want of a better word, bitchiness and lower energy around these two to try and prevent or thwart. And it's because people don't understand the leap of faith that these two people might have to be making to connect up together. So there's going to be some lower energy interference. If you're resonating with what I'm saying there and you've already witnessed it, just realise you just have to swim past it. I'm being shown the breaststroke. I'm wanting to do this. Okay, you just got to keep swimming past it. It's stuff and nonsense. Okay, it's other people's projections and it's actually other people's fears. You know, when you get a power couple coming together, other people can get very threatened by that. Because, you know, if you think about someone who's quite powerful in their own light and their own presence already, coming together with another person who is equally as powerful, because you will be, because like attracts like. You're not going to attract somebody who's a much, much lower frequency. You're going to attract the same frequency. That it's like putting two lighthouses together. And that is hugely triggering for some, okay? And I'm hearing that some of the criticism and some of the gossip as well, you know, it's like a gossip, it's a really lower energy, it's a gossipy lower energy. Just don't be surprised if it happens, but you just have to move past it. You know, you two lighthouses coming together is a big thing, okay? So, you know, where there is great light, there will also be a little bit of splashback, you know, darker splashback. So it's nothing to worry about. How did I get onto all of that? But I just felt I needed to say that. Okay. Right, I'm going to pull a card from my own deck now. Archangel Metatron Self-Mastery Oracle, in case you don't know what my deck is. Some people don't. I said, oh, I didn't know it was your deck. Yeah, it's my deck, okay? Well, my deck and Jane's deck. Jane Delaford Taylor, painter, who painted all the cards. Right, I have to say, I haven't even shuffled the cards, but I do have the card of passion on the bottom of the deck. Okay, but I'm going to shuffle again. So passion, well, no, let's put that out. Don't shuffle that back in. Love for life. You see, this is a year where it's like, come on, what makes you feel alive? What makes you feel passionate? You know, what do you want to do? And it's in spite of all of the adversities and all of those big waves. Think back to what I was saying about, you know, Tom on that raft, okay? He had to get over a huge, massive reef, you know, with all of the waves. It looked completely impossible. We're in a world right now where things look impossible. And I'm very aware of sort of like the everyday reality of people's lives. It's within my own home as well. You know, I've got beautiful teenage daughter who hasn't quite got going yet because of where we are in the world. You know, there aren't any jobs out there at the moment. But, you know, I know where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. And, you know, it's about creating something. Right, this card's just flown out of the deck, which is the card of yellow, and it says joy and happiness. I mean, is there not a bit of a theme here in these two cards? Passion and joy and happiness. These are high vibrational energies. Joy is supposed to be an even higher vibration than love. I mean, joy has love within it. Of course it does. So it's absorbed the energy of love. But joy, happiness and passion, they are the frequencies and the energies that you need to be aligning to in this year. There will be others in our world who are choosing to not align to that, and who are choosing to just focus on what is wrong and just look at the breakers, you know, the waves, the reef that cannot be got over. I'm not closing down the conversation, and we may very well come back to it, around where some believe our world is going at the moment. I will tell you one thing, which is quite interesting. So, because obviously I know what's being said out there with regard to 2021 and, You know, some people really believing that we're entering some sort of police state type energy and new world order. I don't personally believe that, but you know, that's what's out there. Some want or choose to believe that. That's fine. And what Metatron said to me about that is this, which is, he says, it's very simple really. He said very succinctly, man has imprisoned himself for eons. Man has imprisoned himself for eons. Think about that. What does he mean by that? What he means by that is back to the island, okay? Man has, we have, you have, I have. We have all imprisoned ourselves, that we can't do this, we can't do that. You know, that's too much for me. I'm not talented enough to do that. I haven't got the skills to do that. If I do that, what are people going to say? Yeah, you know, it's that whole thing about keeping yourself small and on your own little island. We do it to ourselves. We do it to ourselves. We've done it to ourselves over lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. You know, the biggest irony is that even in the most free country or state, you know, the opposite of maybe a very totalitarian regime, that do exist in our world. I'm, you know, looking at parts of China and areas like that. But even in places that are the total opposite to that, which are completely free and you can do anything, you can go you can go anywhere. We can still keep our lives very, very small because of that one word. What's that one word? Fear. Fear. So, you know, I think that's a good point that Metatron's wanting us to actually think about. Man has imprisoned himself for eons. I will address the whole COVID situation in a separate video. I'm not going to do that here because obviously the energy of that does come into 2021. I will just pull a card on it as I'm talking about it, but I don't want to focus on it too much because it will take away the premise of the main message from this video. Let's just pull a card from the Kim Kranz deck for where we're going with regard to, or just any guidance. Let's just say any guidance with regard to where we are with COVID. The vision and the orphan. There is, I'd already selected the Bluebell Bridge, which is sitting on my desk, which is the spray for loss and grief. There is death around us. There is illness around us. And anybody that's doubting that, I think you really need to get back into your heart and maybe get back out into your community. This isn't a commentary on COVID. It's just a commentary on humanity. The truth is some people are dying. Some people have lost people that they loved. And to be able to appreciate and hold out the hand for those that feel lost at this time, that might be grieving, but equally now let's take it up to a different level, which is we're also grieving an old way of life. Presently, you know, many countries in lockdown. So it's like, but look at that, you see around the hand that's reaching out for help because it feels orphaned is the snake that's being asked to shed its skin. The old way dying. And what you see, look at that. Again, we're back to the two hands. The answer is coming from us coming together and creating a vision for where we want to take this new world. Have we learnt the lessons that this virus is bringing in for us to look at? And if you don't know what the lessons are, go back and look at my playlist, my COVID playlist. You know, Metatron broke it down for us quite clearly in 2020. As I say, I'll do a refresher and I'll do a new video within the next week or so. But for the purposes of this video, it's very clear. This is the rainbow light. This is Metatron. What's the vision? What are you trying to create? You know, break out of your own prison first that you've put around yourself, your own island that you're stuck on. And then you're going to see that manifested outward in terms of wider society. Why is this beeping at me? Nicely done, 250 out of 250. think that's Metatron, just a little joke, just saying, yeah, keep going. Okay, right. Anything else to say on this video? Let me just have a final... Oh yes, I've got one other thing to say. So the analogy of the island, Tom Hanks, all of that, if you're still with me, you understand what I was saying there. The other thing, I was just tuning into Metatron today, and he showed me, again, it's the same message, but it was done in a different way. He showed me, in my mind's eye, this card, which is the Chariot, okay? But it's a beautiful representation of the Chariot. The Chariot is about moving forward, okay? And it's these little elves or fairies or pixies, and they're sliding down this big, snowy, icy hill, having the time of their lives, okay? Riding on a sled. Or a sled? No, a sleigh. A sleigh. Metatron was saying to me oh, okay. I need to show you something else as well. Hold on a minute. The obstacle, okay, the block that you've got to moving to what you want to be doing or where you want to be or who you want to be with in 2021 is represented here again now as this icy, snowy hill. And it's like, how do we navigate down that? Well, if we're trying to navigate down that in high heels, or little slippery shoes, you're going to fall on your backside and it's going to hurt, okay? And you might, break a bone or two. It's not the way to do it. We need to be surmounting the icy hill or the icy mountain or the big breaker in the sea with, again, this childlike abandon, okay? This energy of innocence and lightheartedness. Look at the fun that they're having going down this hill, this obstacle, okay? And it doesn't even have to be, this is almost like against the raft. It's the sleigh. It doesn't even have to be a proper sleigh. It can be I remember when I was a kid, people used to go down on, what are they called? Kitchen trays, and bits of plastic or anything you could get your hand on, really. Just fun. Again, that's an energy of lightheartedness and fun. I don't know if I've even printed it out. So the deck that I'm doing with Jane this year, the Christ Consciousness deck, we were struggling with one of the cards, one of the paintings. I hope she doesn't mind me showing you this because I know she's not that happy with it, but I think it's lovely, but it might not make the final deck. The poem about It's Then That I Carried You, Footsteps, the poem It's Then That I Carried You, which is through the darkest, most hard times, you look back and you say to Christ, to Jesus, to any of the ascended masters you're asking help from, where were you? There's only one set of footprints in the sand. Where were you? And Jesus replies, it was then that I carried you. That's why there's only one set of footprints, okay? So on this card, why I'm talking about this is on this card, can you see there's like a snowy scene and there's this little cottage up here. So this is the picture that Jane's done for the Footsteps poem. And I asked her to do it, not in terms of what we normally see, which is the beach scene with the footprints in the sand. I asked her to do a snowy scene. So it's cold, it's brutal, but it's also beautiful. And there is this cottage at the end here with the chimney and the smoke. And you might not be able to see, but she's basically painted these set of footsteps leading up to the cottage. Now, being the artist that she is, she said to me, but the thing is, of course, wearing a boot in snow doesn't make the same footprint as it would if you're barefoot on the beach. So it's not as easy to paint it. I think she's done a brilliant job, and I really like this painting. But do you see what I mean? The reason is, it's like these footprints, this path that we're being asked to tread through 2021 feels hard, feels like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. But again, it's like, all you've got to do is you've got to take that first step and then you are carried. Same thing with the film. He made the raft. He got himself over that, but equally he was being carried because of his faith, because of his trust. That's where we are, guys. That's where we are. Also, childlike wonder. I mean, this card, the yellow card from my own deck, yellow as an energy is very much linked into childhood. It's linked into happiness. It's linked into joy. Okay, let's end this session for overview of 2021 with a bit of joy. And I say that because I've actually got a lemon joy spray. Okay, lemon joy. This one also was made particularly to help people who are feeling down, depressed. I'm not saying that the answer lies in a bottle, no. I'm saying that it's a support and it's a tool. Very much like, I realise now why I found that on my chair as I sat down, crystals can be. This was sitting on my chair. It must have obviously fallen out of my crystal bowl, but I thought, oh, that's interesting. Why have I got this one? Well, it's Golden Healer. Golden Healer. Maybe I need to look up the properties of Golden Healer for you. But from memory, Golden Healer is a crystal that's is an all-round healer. I know that sounds a bit stupid, but Golden Healer properties. Powerful healing crystal, as it allows the golden light of universal life force to flow into the body through the crown. The energy then spreads its golden light throughout the body as it clears blockages and imbalances that ready the body for multi-level healing. Okay, so to take that first step in the snow, to get yourself on that raft, to get yourself on that surfboard, to do what is being required of you this year, you have to be fully charged up with light. Okay, you need to be looking after yourself, trying to eat as well as you can, exercise as well as you can, not asking you to be an Olympic athlete and a perfect specimen of what it is to be a human being, just to try and do some things that help your own physical self. Okay, we are physical, mental, spiritual and emotional beings. You've got to look after your physical body. Okay, so right, let's just spray a bit of lemon joy. And we've got the Golden Healer energy coming in for you as well. I'm hearing, make joy your home place. Make joy your anchor. Make joy your steering wheel. Make joy, she said, choking. Make joy your home. What are you going to do to raise your own vibration of joy today? What are you going to do to raise your own vibration of joy today? What are you going to do that brings you joy, that brings you into alignment with joy? Working with the yellow and gold ray is a given. Okay? But equally, it can be little things like, I don't know, baking yourself a nice cake. Healthy one. Getting out in the sunshine. I don't know. Getting on a sled if you're, why do I keep saying sled? Sleigh, if you're in the snow. Getting out on a surfboard if you're in the sun. I don't know what it is, but it's something that just puts a bit of a skip into your step. Also, being around people that bring you joy. My mind's straight away going to my friend, my girlfriend in America, who just, I'm gonna make a point to get and see you. She doesn't even watch my work, but it doesn't matter that she doesn't watch my work. She's Soul Tribe, so I'm coming out to see you, girl. We're gonna have some fun. Much love. Take care of yourselves. I'll be back next week with another video on something. I don't know what. Love you all. See you soon. Bye-bye for now. Bye.